How's it going? Here it is, Vox&Hops episode number 6. Today I sit down with ex-bandmate Youri Raymond, who is the ex-guitarist of Cryptopsy, the guitarist and vocalist of Unhuman, and he is a session vocalist for many, many more bands. I've known Youri for a long time. I met him through joining Cryptopsy. He was a part of the Montreal, Quebec metal scene for many, many years, since the early 90s. He is one of the best, if not the best, metal vocalists from Montreal, and an absolute pleasure to sit down and dissect his vocal abilities. I always like to sit down and shoot the shit with him. He is also an extreme beer aficionado. He is actually the person that introduced me to craft beer, and I guess it's sort of his fault that I am here now with all of you, obsessed with craft beer and an absolute hophead. So check it out. This is episode number 6, Vox&Hops with Youri Raymond.
Warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, how's it going? We're here at St-Houblon on St-Denis Street with Youri Raymond from Unhuman, and he was also in Cryptopsy back in the day. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Good. I'm stoked for your show tonight. It's the return of Unhuman.
Yeah, thank you.
What did you have to do to get this all in place, in order to get this band back in fine form?
Yeah, to be honest, I spent let's say half of the last 4 years in jail. So I had to go through that bullshit, so I can come back on track and then start jamming again, Unfortunately, my bass player and drummer couldn't do that tour, but since the offer was on the table, I had to say yes, because I really needed badly to go back on stage, and play my songs and bring back the band on track. So that's all I had to do, We had to find a decent drummer and a decent bassist who could play shows, and my guitar player was also in Beyond Creation. He helped me a lot. He did 75% of the job, about setting up jams and doing the whole things, So he just offered me that, and I said yeah, of course. So basically,
how did your time in jail change your perspective on life?
Yeah, it's really deep, that the answer I'm gonna tell you is you feel you're all alone, even though sometimes you're something like last time I was in the E-Wing and we were 300 people together, but I felt like I was alone, a lot. So you got plenty of time to meditate and think about what you've done wrong, and what you haven't done right, So yeah, of course, it's changed a lot, and I had to train, so I spent all my energy, because I didn't know I was ADHD before, and now I fucking know I'm ADHD, So I was training up to 5 times an hour, a day, 5 times a day.
And when you say training, you mean physical training, push-ups?
Yeah, push-ups, setups, and everything, exercising. So spent lots of my energy and time doing that, so I could focus more. And I was thinking, I was writing a lot. So yeah, it helped me a lot. Yeah, it's kind of stupid to say that, but it helped me to know me better,
When you say you're writing a lot, you were doing journaling, or you were doing more lyric writing, or
kind of anything, even writing down ideas, humor shows, anything, so anything, I was picturing anything, all I had in mind, because I had free times. So, and
just to occupy your mind, I imagine, to get you out of the monotony of prison life. Is all this behind you now? Is there a chance that you have to go back?
No.
Or is it finished now?
No, it's finished. But I will never be the same again. So yeah, it's still there. It will be there forever. So something changed. Badly, and in the good and bad ways. But surely the way I am in life will make me grow stronger, through the whole bullshit I had to go through.
I can't even imagine having to spend that much time in prison, and how I don't think I'd be strong enough as a person to get through it all.
You would, because you have to,
It's you have no choice in that situation.
I was in a band called Cryptopsy at the time that I spent my first, nights in jail and such, and we were going on tour in Europe.
I do remember exactly what happened, yeah. I remember getting a phone call in the morning or a text saying we were leaving to go to the airport.
Yeah.
To go on tour with Cattle Decapitation and Decrepit Birth in Europe in 2013, I want to say.
Exactly.
And it was Youri is in jail. He can't come on tour, and it was really what spawned the 4-piece era of Cryptopsy, which we're still in right now.
Yeah, and since then you haven't replaced me on guitar, so it's kind of weird, but it's still, so like I lost a band, I lost my girlfriend, I lost my houses, I lost plenty of my friends, even my bro. It's kind of weird, but still you gain, there's something else coming in, so of course, I feel kind of lucky that I went through all this and I got stronger instead of become weaker and be super traumatized. I'm traumatized still, but I feel better. I feel like, I don't know, I grew up.
While you were in prison, were you, because I know you, so like I'll just give some backstory. I know that you used to, when you were writing for Cryptopsy, you'd wake up in the middle of the night and you'd grab your guitar and you would track this idea. While you were in prison, did you have this musical creativity that was still happening, or did you have to put it on the side in order to just like survive? And
I started writing down like some stuff for another grunge project, and I really don't know why. I just had like good ideas, in mind. Probably more simple stuff, like cheesier riffs and such. But I had to like compose the whole music, drums, guitar, bass, with no instruments. And suddenly, like in the middle of the night, at some point, I was alone in my cell, and you're always like two people. But I was alone, like my friend just, he just got somewhere else. He got transferred or something. And I was alone, and I was thinking, well, I'm going to have a little fun with my buddy right now because I'm alone, And yeah, for real. And then suddenly, I don't know why, I took off, the pictures of my girlfriend, at the time, and I was about to have fun. And finally, I was like, oh, I had like a flash, when you feel that fucking inspiration being so strong. And I just put back like all my pictures, in the envelope, and I started writing down lyrics, and I didn't know why, and I didn't understand what was going on. And I finally wrote down my first love song ever. Like,
wow.
Guitar, acoustic guitar, and clean voice, and everything. And it took me like months to realize it was my first clean song ever, and it's a love song. So, inspiration comes the way it comes,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that first day you're out, I feel like you went out and then you had to go back in a few times, but when you knew that it was over and you step outside...
That was January 3rd of this year.
Okay.
So I just spent like Christmas and, the New Eve in jail. But I was like way stronger, of course. But once I got back, I started like doing anxiety about Montreal, about cops and girls. And then I had to deal with another part of my life, which was like the fact that I was like maintaining, I was like crisping all my muscles all the time for like years and years. And then when I knew it was over, I felt like dangerously like free, and I felt awkward about that freedom. So then I had to deal with anxiety, So it was a new part of my life. So.
And how have you dealt with that?
Right now, I see a psychologist and a psychotherapist and everything. So I work a lot, So I spend most of my energy, and I start, doing what I'm thinking about. How was I like happy in the past? I was playing music. I had like cool girlfriends, non-violent girlfriends and such. So I want to go back to these roots, I want to go back, like if I find a girlfriend someday, I want her to be like super sweet, super calm. I need those things in my life, and to spend most of my energy playing music, extreme music or grunge or whatsoever, as long as I like what I do,
It's the best form of therapy for me, that's for sure.
I think so. I really think so.
Let's talk about this beer we're drinking.
Yeah.
We're at St-Houblon on St-Denis, and they brought us their New England IPA. What do you think about it?
It's like really fruity. It reminds me a lot of mango. And I think it's like closer to... It's a New England IPA, but it tastes a little bit like a milkshake IPA.
I agree. Yeah.
There's not the...
little lactose.
Yeah, if you put a little more like vanilla in it, it would be like...
a milkshake.
Yeah, a milkshake IPA.
Yeah, it's delicious. Color's nice, super hazy.
Yeah.
Mango, absolutely super tropical. I'm not sure what hops they use in it, but it's delicious. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I come here.
Yep.
It's not something that is like spoken about a lot throughout Quebec, St-Houblon, but I have a fondness for it in my heart.
I saw that place like a few times, but I was not like willing to try it out because I don't know.
You're expecting it to just have like St-Houblon's products and stuff.
Something like that.
What was the first experience with beer like for you? In your life?
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first experience with beer was like?
I could, yeah. When I was really, really younger, I went to the corner store. I was about to buy one beer. I didn't know.
That's all you need back then.
What's up? I don't know. So I had like $5 in my pockets that I stole from my mom. And then like...
He's sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry for her. And then a guy, a well-known like comedian, a Quebecer, he was there and he saw me and he said, "Are you okay, kid?" Maybe I was like 10 or something. I was like, "Yeah, I really want a drink of beer badly. Can you help me out?" And he was like, "Why a beer?" I was like, "I don't know. I need to drink a beer, for some reason." So I gave him my $5 and he came back with a 24-pack and he said,
"Holy
if you want to
fuck.
get drunk, you got to drink more than one beer." So I didn't know what it was about. So he gave me a ride to my friend's place and I came with like 24 beers. And then we tried to drink as much as possible and we puked and everything after 2 or 3,
Of course.
This is my first time.
Who is this comedian? Do you remember his name?
Yeah, his sister passed away like 10 years ago. Sébastien Touga. He's a guy from Audubon Park.
And he's a comedian, like a stand-up comedian.
People know him from back in the days, back in the 90s or 80s or something.
Well, cheers to him.
Yeah.
For starting you off on the wrong foot.
On the wrong foot, because that was blue. La Balle Bleue. So it was not that good.
What is the first craft beer that opened your eyes to craft beer?
Of course, that was... back in the days, it was like Unibrew. And that was La Maudite. But like... The first recipe, the first maudite, because it was different at the time, and they changed the whole ingredient in it. I think the guy who used to brew it like just changed I think he moved to another place, and then the beer changed and it started like tasting like shit. So and then they got back to something decent, but that was like the first one, and the Fin du Monde, Blanche de Chambly, those beers. But at the time I didn't know exactly what it was about, I just knew it was strong and got me fucked up, and I like the little taste, the weird taste, but I was not a super pro at that time, so I puked a lot. These beers.
So what would be your favorite local brewery right now?
Holy shit.
Or beer in general. If you can pick one, I wouldn't be able to.
Brasserie du Bas Canada. They brew like some super insane IPA, and I'm also into goes, and I don't know, session, everything, everything weird could make me smile, I really like Porter Baltic from Les Trois Mousquetaires. The one that they brewed like in a fût de chêne or fût de Porto or something, it was so good, but these are special editions. And I'd say also Ta Meilleure and Ta Plus Meilleure for me are super good.
Yeah, both from La Gabière.
Yeah, La Gabière from Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, which is like pretty decent, There's so many craft beers right now, so...
I really like Ta Meilleure because like quality price, it's much more reasonable when you want to buy like a 4-pack or something.
Yeah, but usually like I go to a metro or something, there's like so many beers, and I see people getting there and they don't know exactly what to drink or to try out. So usually I'm there to help them out, and like you're like a,
what
do you like exactly?
You're like a service clerk.
Yeah, and they think
at
that I
your
work
local
there.
Grocery store.
Exactly.
I do the same thing, which is funny enough. Yeah.
Just want to help people out because there's so many beers, so you don't want them to buy shit and then think that microbrewery is bad because they just choose like something bad,
Yeah, if you start off on the wrong foot, your relationship might not be what it could become, because it takes a long time to step back from a bad beer sometimes. Tell me about your early life, growing up as a kid. You in high school, what kind of kid were you?
I've been peeing in my pants until I was 9, so I think I was a little retarded. We are 4 children. I got an older brother and 2 little sisters, and we are all like, I'm 38 right now. My bro is 40. My 2 sisters are like 36 and 34. My sisters have kids. I don't have kids. My bro doesn't have kids either. I think we grew up in Mont-Saint-Hilaire, Audubon Park. A super kind of quiet place, but it was also like super fucked up. I mean, I had my first sex experiences when I was like 10.
Wow.
And I started drinking at 10. I started like smoking weed at 10. I started almost everything at 10. So that was kind of early. It was an early life, And even when I was 12, I was babysitting a 7 years old girl, and her mom was probably like 21 or 22 something, and she made me blew up coke, like just
holy
as a pay, she was like rolling me cigarettes and rolling joints, and I blew up cocaine and
Holy fuck. Okay.
So I think I had like an intense start, but still I'm not that fucked up because I quit taking drugs super young, I think, at something like 14, 15. I quit like all the chemicals, and then I quit like smoking joints at 18.
When did music start for you?
14 years old, my mom was supposed to buy me clothes for my birthday because I had no clothes. I had like one pair of super ugly, like Ronald McDonald's, like green jeans. Like the shape was ugly as fuck. These were the only pants I had. And because they were like dark green, all the people knew that, they knew that I had like the only one pair of jeans. I was like, fuck. So like, I was going to be like a teenager, so I wanted new clothes. And finally she bought me a guitar and an amplifier like instead of that. And I've been like in shock like from 14 to 15. I didn't want to play guitar because I was so mad at her because I really wanted new clothes. So I started like selling weed so I can buy clothes, and then I made peace with myself. And then I started like playing guitar a little bit at 15. Then I just fell in love with that shit,
Like when in your house, was there music playing? The reason why she bought you a guitar versus buying you clothes, in her mind, like what would be her justification for that?
I had a friend of mine, mostly like a friend of my bro. He played guitar once, and he played some Deicide in front of me and some Suffocation, and he had like a death metal band, in Otterburn Park. And I saw him jam once, and I couldn't. I don't know. I was so impressed. I was like, holy shit, this guy shreds like crazy. He was just playing, riffings, no solos, nothing. But I was in shock. How can he fucking do that shit? I really liked the sound, the feeling, everything. So, and I was just listening to a Cryptopsy at that time, and Cataclysm and old school shit, Brutal Truth and Anal Kant, and brutal stuff. So I was surprised that he could play that, In my mind, these were just geniuses, So I couldn't play that, but I was so impressed. And so I started like playing some little bit of like, I don't know, fucking Metallica and such. But I really like death metal mostly, So I started playing by my own. I took like one listen. The guy was not good enough. I quit.
He didn't bring you what you wanted, yeah.
Yeah, so I just started playing by my own,
That's crazy. When did the screaming start?
I met a guy when I was 15 too. His name is Ben Lavallée. He was my first drummer, and we started like jamming together. And then we had like back in the days there was the tape trading era. So he was like, hey, listen to this, this is Edge of Sanity from Sweden. I was like, oh, what's that exactly? So, we both fell in love like with Macabre and, kind of bands like that. It was super intense at that time. So we started jamming together, and we said, hey, let's start a band, And then we just found a bass player. He was decent, he could play. And then we tried to find a singer. But he was so bad in English, especially. And instead of saying the philosopher from Death, he was B. Phyllis Taylor, and such mistakes like that. And we were laughing at him a lot because he was really bad. I was bad, but he was like even badder. He was really, really, really bad. So and I don't know, the scream sounded like something like that. So I really hated that. So when he was not there, I was screaming instead of him, like because I wanted to hear that sound. And then my drummer at some point, he said, "Yo, you're better than him. Why don't we just kick him out?" But I was like, because I can't play and sing at the same time. He was like, but just keep practicing and do it till we find a decent vocalist. We never found one, so
that's where you've done. And you have like many voices in screaming. How did you like cultivate all these? Just in the jam room, or you hear something and you can mimic it? Are you a person like that, or?
It's mostly because like back in the days, I remember that like Cradle of Filth was one of the highest vocalists, and Macabre was another one. Dying Fetus was surprising me with like the fucking low guttural vocals, and I don't know, man. Suffocation was so intense, and everyone has like his own vibe. So I was like, I want to have my own sound, I felt like I wanted to be original. I didn't want to be a copycat of.
Did you like go and take what you like from each person and then like mold it into your voice?
At some point, you've got influences, right? And we were playing like several hundred of covers of death metal covers. So of course, when I was playing like a Morbid Angel song, I wanted to sound like David Vincent. And then I saw like different bands live, and sometimes they don't even sound like themselves on recordings.
Is that something that frustrated you, or?
I wouldn't say frustrating. I would say I'm a little autistic at some point in music. I really want it to be as good as possible.
Or as accurate.
Yeah. Like Cryptopsy was like so violent back in the days. So So when I saw them live, I really wanted to have a punch in the face, and I had that punch in the face. So I was like, okay, this is what I want. I want to have the same impact. If I compose something melodic, I want it to be super melodic. If it's brutal, I want it to be super brutal. If it's technical, I don't want it to sound sketchy. I want it to be super technical, super tight. So I started building my my own songs that way.
Where did the Predator voice come from?
Just the fact that I wanted to do something different. I just really wanted to sound different, and my drummer was super pushing me to my limits. We were jamming 5-6 hours in a row.
Oh wow!
5 times a week. Just back in the 80s, 90s, people were jamming a lot. There was nothing else to do, so I was screaming and screaming, then inhaling and exhaling, and pushing back the limits and everything. And then it sounded weird at some point. And I was like, I like this little texture, And my drummer was pushing me a lot. He was like, this is good, keep pushing. And I was pushing, and then I started yelling super intensely, high, low, and everything. And then I just discovered that weird sound, and I started playing with that voice, So yeah, developing an idea.
I still haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it, but for those people that don't know, Youri joined Cryptopsy shortly after The Unspoken King came out, and we had toured it. And in my opinion, he's a big factor in the evolution of my voice, my death metal voice. So I'm constantly working on it. I'm really stoked for you to hear the new Tome 2, which, even now I'm coming out with new voices. And it's really just like what you're saying, just playing with it and experimenting.
And pushing the fucking limits.
And jamming it out. Really, you can't just pull it out in studio sometimes. It just won't work,
I do remember a lot at the beginning when you were in the band, I just jumped in as a guitar player and back vocalist at some point. I remember I was trying to push you to develop your voice and, to I don't know, it's always about a point of view, about yourself, not about what other people think, You don't care what people think.
Yeah, it was a rough deal, the whole Unspoken King ordeal for me coming into the band and having to accept this, and then I guess you sort of helped me just accept the sound of my voice
and push
and then work with it. Yeah. What can I do with it? Yeah.
Exactly.
And not really care what all these fucking comments are saying.
Yeah. Plus, you always can work harder and get a new result sometime. You never know when, but your voice at sometime you don't know why. 6 months after you haven't think about getting high or low something, then you reach a new level of
something clicks.
Yeah, something clicks. You don't know why.
Because the Cryptopsy work ethic back in the day maybe wasn't as what it is now for me. I go to the jam room alone and I just pound it out in the studio just by myself.
Yeah.
Just to work on my vocals. It's like working out. It's like training.
Exactly.
You can't be.
The more you work out, the stronger you get.
And screaming is not something you can just do in your condo.
No, of course
your neighbors don't love it.
No, of course.
Let's talk about your lyrics.
Yep.
Is there an overlying theme in all your lyrics for Unhuman?
The way I try to write down lyrics is probably influenced by NoFX more than anything else, because NoFX, the way Fat Mike writes down his lyrics, it's always he talks about alcoholism, but I don't know, something else, I don't know, society in general or something. He has 2 subjects, so I like it to write down lyrics that you can see in 2 different point of views, perspectives.
To analyze the song in 2 different ways. Yeah, that's always fun. And I know
that 99% of the people, your fans, won't give a shit about what you write down. I don't care. This is no. I want to be proud of what I did, even if I do bad mistakes in English, and I try to I try to bring some other languages as well.
Oh yeah,
like Russian and
really
weird things, you know. So of course I won't pronounce the Russian the right way because I'm not Russian.
How do you go about doing that?
I just ask friends on Facebook or something. Can you help me out?
They send you videos of.
I want to say something. How do you think? Then they help me out, or like old quotes, anything, I work hard on my lyrics because I just want to be proud of what I've done myself, and I know no one cares. I mean, most of people don't care, but I don't know. I just want to be proud of what I wrote down, I don't want to talk about like a murder and such, because it's like, I don't know. For me, it's too easy. That's all, That's all.
That's all I do.
Just murder. That's all.
Just murder.
Just
murder and childcare.
Macabre is probably my best death metal band in the world, and they just talk about fucking murder. Murder metal.
Do you have like a lyric book that you work from, or do you write songs specifically for each song?
It depends. Like right now, I'm working on a conceptual album.
For Unhuman or for some new project?
Yeah, for Unhuman, because this is my main project right now. I used to be in Kill Tourists. I quit. I love them. I love everything, but I want to do my own shit. I've been playing with Cryptopsy, and I felt like I was in another person's project. I felt that was John Navasar's band, and I was filling in, but I didn't feel as good as when I do my own shit.
Or as comfortable.
Yeah, like today, there's going to be some fill-in parts between songs, like a interlude. There will be like Zelda and G.I. Joe and Conan the Barbarian and such.
That is very you.
That is very me.
It does not fit in Cryptopsy whatsoever, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when I played one show with Cryptopsy with a yellow shirt, and
we talked to you about that a lot.
Yeah. They said, you can't really wear a yellow shirt on stage, because it's a death metal band.
And you didn't understand, yeah.
I did, of course I didn't. I was like, yeah, but that's me. I'm playing music right now. So, yeah, I want it to be a little weird and awkward. I like it.
Where do you draw inspiration from when writing lyrics?
I'd say, like, when I meditate, I got, like, I don't know, flashes sometimes. And sometimes when I'm on the bowl, just having a number two. I don't know, I've got, like, flashes. And then I start working on, I don't know, But mostly it's like you get one flash once in a while, every 2 or 3 months or something. You got a night that you don't know why you can't stop, writing down ideas.
Yeah.
And then you got like all the cool words and such, like the band, the Dillinger Escape Plan, the black bubble gum or setting fire to sleeping giants. These are fucking catchy words play, or I don't know, it's so catchy, and I really think that like they write down cool stuff.
It's while they're falling asleep they wake up and write stuff down.
Something like that. They have flashes and then they just work on that shit. So this is basically the way I work on my things. Or sometimes I just create like a song structure, and then I'm like, I would like it to sound like and then I write down like lyrics about that, on the structure.
Because I remember when we did the Best of Us Bleed songs, I went to your house. It's the one time I ventured out to Otterburn Park.
Yep.
And you just like, this is like a big scoop that I didn't write my own vocal patterns for that. You like, just because I was just so nervous to do something
I think
Cryptopsy. I didn't need this to happen, but it really helped me transition to get to where I needed to be. So you just like took a microphone and just like laid down nonsense
things that I thought that could fit my
vocally
songs.
that fit your songs, and then I went home and wrote lyrics to those.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
that was a good thing for me at that time, because you asked me, what do you think like should be like the main patterns? And I was like, well, I have few things in mind, but I would do something like blah, 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 blah. And you were like, oh, but can you just record them right now, like a scratch track, just a shit track? And then I'm gonna like finally, you were about like to compose songs, not over the top of it, but mostly like being influenced by those kind of structure. And finally you came back in studio, and there was mainly
those structures.
Those structures. So I was like surprised. I was like, cool, man,
I re-listened to those songs, and some of them are actually fucking good.
Yeah, I think there's good stuff in it.
It's stuff that's been forgotten because, Century didn't push it.
Yeah.
They just sort of like finished our contract and just put it out.
Yeah.
But they didn't. But some of those songs are fucking good.
I think so. I think we were going somewhere, And then I'm kind of proud of what I've done, I didn't need to be all around the place and do all the picture stuff. I just wanted to, at some point I wanted like the band to come back to the roots and bring something new to the table, and I think that's what you've done, so I'm proud of it.
This time around I just wrote everything to a guitar and a click.
Okay.
And I think I just do that from now on. I think it made me be very square, but the music's all over the fucking place, but I just sort of hold it down. I really like it. If you could book a 3-band dream tour for Unhuman, who would be on that tour and why?
Holy shrites. Macabre would be part of it. Okay, picture that. Headliners, Pink Floyd. Then
I like it.
NoFX, Stratosphere from California, and Unhuman.
That'll be sick, yeah.
Yeah. just to be different, you know.
Yeah, I saw Secret Chiefs. I thought about you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The guy came to my place. I might not be supposed to say that, but I will. He came to my place 2 months ago or something.
Trace Spruance went to your house.
Yeah, he came to my place to my house for 2 weeks or something, a week and a half or something, and we recorded some brand new stuff. So I don't.
No way.
Yeah, I can't really tell much about it.
But it's coming.
But it's coming, and he's coming back to my house again.
It's for Secret Chiefs or it's for a new project? We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. It's about the whole thing, you know. But
there's this great story. I love it. They're like that. You're just sitting at your house one day, and the phone rings, and you pick it up, and Trace Spruance from Mr. Bungle and Secret Chiefs 3 is on the phone and is looking for you, the guy that can do the voices.
Yeah, and he's like, can I come to your place like someday soon, maybe in a month or so? And I'm like, yeah, of course, buddy. I thought it was a joke. I thought this was one of my friends, you know. This is a fucking joke. And then like someday he calls me and he's like, okay, I'm coming tomorrow. Are you ready? I'm like, yeah, of course. I thought it was a joke still. And then he's like, can you come and pick me up in Montreal? I was like, no way. You won't make me move to Montreal for a fucking stupid prank, you know? So I made him take the bus, you know, to my place. And then he showed up, you know.
With his luggage and his guitar.
Yeah, exactly. And then he showed up and I got to the prank, you know, spot.
What album are you on?
It's Book of Horizons.
Yes. Horizon. All those brutal vocals I hear on that's you.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and he came just down the street, you know, of mine, and then I just showed up with my car and I was like, oh, you're there for real? I thought it was a prank. So I don't know, I was surprised. I was like, seriously? And then he paid me well. We spent some time he's not a heavy drinker, but I made him like drink a lot of craft brews.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
You were always that dude, man. You were always that dude for me to like open the door. Mixing beers too.
Yeah.
No one does that still.
I do that sometimes.
What, like a white beer and a fruit beer? Is that possible?
Of course.
Or a stout and a fruit beer.
Yeah. The best is like a super intense fruity IPA with a super intense like black porter or
really?
Stout. Oh yeah.
See, I would never even try that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You mix. You do put like a TI, you know,
a third,
maybe a quarter of a black beer first. Then you mix like super intense IPA, and at the end you put back another sip of black beer, and then you.
We got to do this. Yeah.
So good.
We got to do this. I'm down for that.
So good.
What is one of your craziest tour stories?
Holy shit! It would be like Russia, you know, with you, because I don't know. Russia is so like Ukraine, Russia, you know. The morning I got so drunk. The day after that, I woke up in the hotel room, and I didn't remember what was going on, you know, like what the fuck, where am I, and what's going on, you know. So yeah, I think these tours, you know, European tour are fucked up, you know. We spent some good time over there.
We did the European tour.
Yeah, PN, because we printed like some T-shirt at the Image Folie in Longueuil, and they wrote down
Shout
like
out.
European with a PEE. So that was a funny joke, you know. We were selling those T-shirts, you know.
But it's also funny because we had that dude that was helping us. He wasn't the driver. He was like a loader dude that came out with a friend of the driver, and he pissed the bed.
Yeah, exactly. He pissed in the bed just beside you.
No, I got out of the bed because he was acting weird, and I was like, I'm not sleeping next to this dude.
He started like yelling some fucking weird.
He was like muttering. He was like on some shit though. He was on some drugs, that guy.
Still, he peed in the European tour bed, so that was funny.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on road?
I don't know, man. I'm a super positive guy, you know. I'm super positive, so every time bullshit happens, I'm like, I don't know. I see positive in everything, you know. So I'd say if someone's a real fucker, I'll just get the fuck out of there. Or I can be like the worst fucker too, you know. I mean, all the time that something bad happened, I'm part of it, so so I guess I don't know, man. You know, I remember when I was in Japan with you, I had to shit blood, so I just shat in the middle of the street.
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
Yeah, but I mean, is that the worst part of it?
We still talk about it.
Yeah.
Me and Ollie. It was you, me, and Ollie. We're out for a walk in Japan. We were there for Loud Park, which means we're there for 3 days, plus all the flights. And we go for this walk, and you're like, dudes, I gotta go to I have to go now. And you just go into this little corner, pull down your pants, and then you shit. And there's like Japanese people driving by. Yeah.
And we saw like some people come in like really, really like later on, like maybe 2 minutes after, like there was people coming to clean the whole shit, you know? Because I don't know, these guys are pros at cleaning. I don't know, they're fucking pro, you know?
How is your digestive issue?
Right now, everything's super fine. I'm pretty proud of the way I was dealing with that shit, you know? Less stress.
Did that get better in prison, or was it?
Prison helped. It's kind of weird because the food was disgusting. It was super horrible. But I don't know. The fact that I was like going to sleep at 10, waking up at 7,
training.
all the day training, eating regularly, even if it was shit, you know, the shit was like regular. So yeah, I think it's helped a little bit. Stress, you know, you got to really stress. Put it away, you know, from your life. Stress sucks, you know. That stupid disease called c'est une colite ulcéreuse in French. So would it be like Crohn's disease or the
Crohn's disease,
Crohn's disease,
or IBM, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. Yeah,
but it's another thing, but related to that.
Okay,
but worst. But I kind of don't care because I never cared anyways about these things. But I kept like drinking good beer and shit because I think like stress is the most important thing to take away, you know, from your life. So generally, I just try to stay away from every kind of stressful situation, except girls. I don't know. I like that shit. I like this part.
You're still tied up in it.
Yeah, but no, I just try not to stress. You know. And
you look good though. You look rested and
thank you.
Healthy and young still. Even though we're both getting up there.
For a 38 years old motherfucker, sometimes... You know, the last girl I slept with was like 26. The one before was 21. And they always think that I'm like 30, 32. So I'm kind of proud of it.
So you're doing something right.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is the best piece of advice you would give to someone starting a band now? A young kid.
Don't believe like in miracles, you know. Don't think that if you want to be a rock star, you're going to be a rock star. I think you got to work your ass off, but you have to, it has to be pleasant, you know, it has to be cool, funny, you know, you have to have fun. So find the people that have the same goals as yours and try to, you know, share your fucking dreams with them, you know, and have fun. Go to your rehearsal space and, you know, play music, have fun, you know. If you don't have fun, if you just want to play shows right now, I'd say keep on practicing, you know, practice your shit and push the limit to the maximum. Even if you want to play like I'd say like in a pop band, anything, practice, you know, keep practicing, push the fucking limits to the maximum. If you want to sing clean, you know, just sing to the maximum, be good, you know. Even like I don't know, I like Justin Bieber, you know. I got his T-shirt in my furry. I think tonight I'm gonna wear my Justin Bieber long sleeve just because.
Your band's gonna love it.
Yeah, of course. But I'm a fan, you know. He's good. So Justin Timberlake said all the Justin Trudeau, you know. He wanted to legalize weed and he's doing it right now. So, you know, follow your dreams and push it to the maximum. You know, the limits it's limitless, you know. So just push it, but don't try to be lazy and stay home and think everything will happen.
Brag that you're in a band.
You got push the fucking limits no matter what you do, you know?
What's the best piece of advice that you received from someone in a bigger band when you were young that helped you move forward?
I think what helped me a lot was when I started jamming with Sylvain Hood from Cataclysm. He was really, really, really helping me out, like to be confident in my talent. He told me like, you're fucking talented, you can play whatever you want, blah blah blah. But I felt like I was super weak because I'm not a super good guitar player. You know, I'm not a god. I don't play solos. I don't care about solos. And you know, he thought I had like good ideas. And every time I was like composing a new song, he was like, "This is pretty good," or a riff or something. Also, when I auditioned for Cryptopsy back in 2001. The fact that they said, yes, you're the new singer, and I was like, oh no, fuck, I'm scared. I don't want to sing with you guys. I just wanted to be sure that I
had the chops to do it, but you didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do it because you weren't interested to do it, or you were...
I was 21, I felt like a weak... you
were intimidated.
Yeah, you know, Mike DeSalvo is a fucking king genius composer.
So just for the history line, Wormy was there, Mike DeSalvo came in, and then you could have been the next incarnation of Cryptopsy.
I was super intimidated by the whole thing, you know, because I'm a super fan, you know. I'm a first day fan. I was fan like back in the demo days, you know, and first album. So that was way too much, you know. I was like, these guys are fucking huge, and I can't fill their shoes right now. But I wanted to be sure, you know. So that's something that without being words said by a guy, when their ex-manager, what's his name again?
Maurice Richard, I want to say, not the hockey player.
Yeah, Maurice Richard. When he told me, not the hockey player, their manager back in the days, when he told me, it was like, you can't do that. I was like, what? Why are you saying that? It was like, because you just can't sing the way you're singing right now on tour. You're gonna lose your voice, and it's impossible for you to do that. So that was a good thing. When he told me that, I was like, you know what? You're wrong, because I can do that, because I used to like sing like that 5 hours, 6 hours a day, 5 times a week. So I was like, yeah, I can easily do that, you know. I was just selling weed at that time, so I was just selling weed and practicing the whole day.
You were selling weed, but you didn't used to smoke it, so you're really smart. You don't smoke your own supply.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very smart.
And I never tried I never wanted to sell any kind of other chemical dope or coke or something. I thought it was super bad. But I'm okay for weed, you know. Weed is cool.
There's some medicinal benefits which need to be explored further.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Exactly.
What is the accomplishment you're most proud of?
Cryptopsy releasing an album with Unhuman, that's for sure. The fucking album took like a fucking bunch of time.
Unhuman? Oh yeah,
Unhuman
I remember that.
Took so many years. And I remember when John Levasseur told me, when he kicked me out at the end, the last time, he said, you will never release that album, you know. And this
really?
Yeah, he's been super harsh with me, that was bad. So I was like, what? And he said, no, you will never, because you're not. But I didn't know I was ADHD at that time.
Is that what motivated you to finish it, really? Him saying that?
Yeah.
Really?
I was like, oh, really, fucker? I was like, you know what? I'm going to release that bitch just to prove you I can do it, you know?
To rave reviews.
Yeah.
Everyone fucking loved it.
I had like lots of help from, you know, people. But still, I released that bitch, you know? And this is one of the best, the biggest accomplishment for me. This and joining Cryptopsy was like a huge deal. And all the people I've been working with, Trace Pruance and, you know, all the fucking guests I made, you know, the Harley Davidson show back in 2008, 2009, something, in front of 40,000 people, you know, that's those kind of things, you know, everything related to music make me being proud of myself, and I don't want people to try to push me down, you know, so I try to remember those things that I've done, you know, and try to recreate those things, you know, differently, so I can push the limit of my dreams still, you know. I think it's important.
You grew up playing and going to shows in Montreal. Do you feel there is a scene division between the French and the English musicians in Montreal?
I do not believe in that. I do believe, like back in the days, like in 2001, I think, I organized the first death and black metal show in Montreal at Salle de l'Ix with Deuterium. That was Alex Arian, the guy from Despised Icon. That was his first band, first show.
He playing drums.
Yeah, he plays drums. And that was his first show. He was blasting like crazy, you know. And it was like Unquintessence and Unhuman and, you know, like 3 or 4 black metal band and 3 or 4 death metal bands. That was like, for me, it was a way to show people like you can't really divide what brings you together, you know. We like music, we like heaviness, we like brutality in different ways. So I didn't think like the fact that someone's like and the other makes
not black and deaf though. I'm saying English and French.
I know, but the same way I see these things, and you know, it's not a super secret. I'm a super separatist, like a.
But yet we're still good friends.
Yeah, of course.
which is what I find interesting.
And I got friends all around the world. I don't care if you speak French or English. The story is something else, you know. And the fact that I don't recognize Canada as being my country doesn't make me someone who's like anti-Canada. You know, I'm not anti.
You just don't feel represented.
I know my story, and I know I'm not Canadian, you know.
Yeah, you don't feel represented by the Canadian.
No, exactly. But I'm still proud that we have a prime minister who is going to legalize weed, and I know he's going to make like tons of money on our back and shit. But still, I think it's a good thing, you know. So I don't feel the scene is divided in French, in English, but I know some bands. I would say, I don't know. The Catalyst, you know, these guys are mostly English, I think, and I think they bring like mostly like English people because their friends are English. So of course, if you go and see them live, if you show up and you're me, you know, they're gonna be super fine with you and super happy, you know, to see you. Just the fact that you're French doesn't make you like an enemy. It makes you maybe not being one of their gang, you know,
the circle of friends.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it makes them like. I don't think there's two scenes. I think there's like different type of people who get along with each other, and some other people less, and that's pretty much it, you know. But I would book like a show with like 2 English bands and 2 French bands, and all the people will get along. There won't be like any fucking kind of bullshit.
No, I don't think so anymore. I think nowadays it's more, as we're getting older, you know, the good musicians stick around. Yeah. And the ones that were there, you know, as a hobby have like fallen out. Yeah. So now, you know, we sort of need to like, we know what good musicians are, and we don't fucking care what language they speak. We speak music.
Yeah.
That's like, really what I think. Yeah.
Like I went on tour with Becomes Astral from Ontario, and I was like singing with them, not as the main singer, but still I sang with them. And like, look, I'm going back on tour with them, and they just told me this morning that their singer is he quits, you know, something in the middle of the tour. So I'm going back with them to BC. I went with them. Yeah, I went with them like to BC 8 months ago or something.
Yeah.
So I'm going back with them as a main singer this time for half of the tour. So I'm doing Unhuman, and then the other half I'm doing Becomes Astral. And these guys are English. And same thing with Kill Tourist. You know, I was the main singer, and
an English band.
I toured Canada like probably 5 times with them, and I was. You know, my speech was in English, super bad English, as you can see.
No, you're pretty good.
Not, you know, you can tell I'm French, but I mean, my accent and everything, you know, everything, but no one cared, you know, as long as I was there to do the job, and I think people liked it, you know, so.
Is it harder now, as we're getting older, to restart this band, Unhuman, than it was back when you were younger?
No, of course not, because I'm stronger.
Okay.
I'm way stronger. Same thing with like I do some bunch of landscaping in summertime, and I'm way stronger than I used to be. Like generally, like, you know, I've got more focus, more intensity. I know myself better. I know I'm all around. I'm super fucked up when I'm super ADHD. I know it. I tell my friends I'm like right now. I feel like super hyperactive, so I gotta calm down. So I'm gonna drink 3 beers in a row. They're like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I need it, you know. And then I just calm down, and then I refocus on myself, and I'm stronger, you know. So no, I think it's a better timing right now to start back that band than back in the days when I didn't know I was ADHD. So I was just all around the place, you know, and even more like hyperactive. Yeah, it was harder, you know. I was younger. I was stupid as fuck, you know. I remember with Cryptopsy I did so many things that I wouldn't do right now, you know.
We still have very fond memories with you.
Of course. Yeah. Of course, I don't regret anything, you know. Everything was fine. But still.
When are we going to hear new music? Are you going to play new music tonight, or are you just going from the old catalog?
Yeah, tonight we're going to play 4 new songs and a cover from the band Death.
Really?
From the album Symbolic. Because Chuck, he's the godfather of death metal. So like this guy's like, he influenced me a lot. I started learning his songs when I was younger, you know, like maybe 15, 16, 17. And yeah, I still play songs like sometimes, you know, and I'm like, whoa, so good, genius. So like, yeah, we had the idea of bringing in like a cover song, the song Crystal Mountain.
You can never go wrong,
of course,
with a Death cover.
Yeah,
especially
exactly.
Crystal Mountain. Decrepit Birth still does it to this day.
And
shout out to Decrepit Birth.
Yeah. And I'm a hippie. You know, I went to the hippie fest called Rainbow this year. So I got naked for 4 days, you know, in a row.
Really?
Yeah, like just with my girl, and my girl was like naked, and we were together, and we just had plenty of fun, just you know, going around, swimming, and everything naked. You know?
Where is this Rainbow Fest held?
That was 6 hours away, northern from Montreal. I don't exactly remember the place, but it was the middle of nowhere, you know, in the woods.
And how many people go to this?
400 to 500 at the same time.
Wow.
So like sometimes they're like 350 or something. Sometimes there's like 600 depending when, and it lasts something like a month or and a half or so. So it's not a festival; it's more like a
movement almost.
Yeah, it's a movement.
Yeah.
It's super hippie. So
wow.
So I went there, you know. So I felt like I don't know. I felt really good, you know.
That's a good.
From now on, I'm going there every fucking year.
It's like a therapy.
That's so
a cleansing.
So cool.
Yeah.
You know, the first day you don't want to be naked. Second day you don't have to be naked, but there's like naked people. So yeah, I got naked and I had tons of fun. You know, helping people. You know, cooking food.
I'm sure you got naked like on the first day. by the end of the first day?
I think when my girl, she's 26, and when she got naked, she's really good looking. When she got naked and she felt comfortable, it made me feel comfortable. I was like, I just have a penis, to show up. I don't have any tattoos, nothing, to show up, except that little piece of flesh, coming out from my body. So like, she was good looking, and I was like, holy shit, there's lots of perverts. And finally, no, I don't think so. There was not so many perverts.
It's just natural.
Yeah, it's just easy shit, So yeah, I had tons of fun.
Well, cheers to that. Well, I'm not going to keep you too long. You got to play a show tonight.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you taking the time to be with me, and I'm really stoked to see your set.
It's always my pleasure, my friend.
Yes, so much love.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, bud.
Peace.
Wow, thank you all so much for listening to episode 6 of Vox and Hops. I hope that you were blown away as I was when I sat down with Youri. He was just in, the best state, so clear-minded. He's in good shape. He's mentally fit and happy. I'm so happy that he's in a place like this right now. He overcame so much, with his time in prison, and he's grown so much as a person, and I'm so happy that he has Unhuman back up and running again. If you guys ever get the chance to see Unhuman live, I highly suggest that you should. They should have new material coming out, so you should absolutely keep an eye open for that. I'd like to also recommend that you guys go check out where we had the beer, was St-Houblon. There are a few local brew pubs in the Montreal area and surrounding areas. You guys should absolutely check it out and grab yourself a delicious pint at St-Houblon. On the next podcast, I sit down with an associate of Youri Raymond. It is Aaron K. Homa, and I've known Aaron a very, very long time. I met him when I was playing in Ottawa for the first time, and with 3 Mile Scream. It was like one of my first out-of-town gigs, and we played with this local band, which happened to be Aaron's band, and we connected. We became friends. He's not hard to be friends with. He's one of the nicest dudes in metal. So Aaron plays guitar for the extreme band Clitoris. You heard that right, Clitoris. He is also the guitar player of Annihilator right now. So he's out there banging out all the big festival shows besides Jeff and the rest of the boys for Annihilator. And I was so happy when he got that gig. So check out that Vox and Hops episode 7 when I sit down with Aaron and we discuss growing up listening to Disney music as well as musicals, getting signed to a label at a young age, how he handles the transition between touring with Clitoris in a van versus Annihilator and tour busts, and also his opinion about bands touring with session players replacing key members. So check it all out on Vox and Hops episode number 7. As always, if you want to, sponsor the show, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions of who I should interview, please send an email to matt@voxandhops.com. All the best.